Right, thanks Hashki for having us and giving us a chance to share a little bit more about Avalanche, especially what we've been doing this part of the world. So my name is Leroy. I lead efforts for Avalanche in this part of the world and across Southeast Asia. So I'm here to talk a little bit about how Avalanche as Layer 1 has been supporting a lot of real-world use cases, focusing especially those in Asia. So, but before I go into that, let's talk a little bit about who we are, for those who are not familiar. So basically, Avalanche, we are a company founded by Cornell, computer scientists, together with some Web3 and also Wall Street veterans. We are headquartered in New York, and globally we have about 300 plus people in our team. And as a company, we built basically Avalanche, as all you will probably recognize, our layer 1. We also build other Web3 products like our own bridge, our own wallet, which I can talk about a little bit later. But today, let's focus on Avalanche, the layer 1. So the mainnet for Avalanche has launched since 2020, and it is a EVM-compatible layer 1 with, right now, existingly 500 plus active dApps. About 1,000 of them, but active, we're talking about around 500 plus. So just two things I want to highlight about Avalanche, because today I'm not going to deep dive into the tech. So firstly, Avalanche, we have our own novel consensus, which gives us the fastest time to finality in the market in under 1 second. We also have a scaling solution called subnets, which allows Avalanche and anyone that builds on us to scale infinitely. Okay, clicker not working. All right, so talking about subnets, I'm not going to dive into the tech, but I just want to give an overview of how our mainnet actually looks like. Our mainnet is actually a combination of 3 different chains, the X chain, the P chain, and the C chain. And you can actually look at all these different chains as their own individual subnets. So what I'm trying to say here is basically Avalanche was designed with a subnet architecture from day 1 to allow us to scale infinitely. Now, that's a little bit about the tech. Like I said, I'm not going to dive into it. I want to talk instead about what we do and who we do it with mostly. So what do we do? In a sentence, I like to say we make Web3 simple and accessible. One of the most widely used or the most massively adopted verticals or product in Web3 previously was NFTs, right? And as all of you here would know, to just get an NFT, the first step is you need to create a Web3 wallet, which has its own complexities, especially 1-2 years ago. So how we do things at Avalanche is we want to onboard as many people as possible and make it as simple as possible. So what we did is we went out to bring in partnerships with Shopify, for example, that allows 2 things. Firstly, allows any merchant, any brand to launch, to mint, to create, to mint, and to sell their NFTs on Avalanche at a no-code platform easily, and right now it's being used by micro brands, beauty brands across the ones that are selling at Sephora. Those are live. And on the consumer side, it allows you to actually buy an NFT with your credit card or check out like any other normal e-commerce checkout process with even like Apple Pay without having an existing Web3 wallet. What then happens is you get an email with that particular NFT you bought with a credit card already in a wallet, all set up for you, and then you just follow instructions and get on board. And to take it further, we want to keep you in the ecosystem. We want to make it easy for you to stay once you open an NFT. So we also created our own version of a Web3 wallet that is more Web2 friendly, allowing you to sign at that time, allowing you to sign in with Google account, with your Apple ID. So basically, what a Web3 wallet should be with a Web2 user interface, allowing you to not just track your Avalanche portfolio, but your portfolio of assets across all event-compatible chains. So we also make it easy for enterprises to come on board and build on blockchain. I think the theme for today here in the Web3 Festival, the whole morning, has been around regulation, regulation, regulation. And that's where subnets really shine. So for enterprises to come and step into the space, they have headaches like GDPR, there are privacy laws, they have headaches like regulation, they have headaches like data sovereignty, where the folks are domiciled. So we allow enterprises to solve that by allowing them to create their own subnet where they control things like where all the validators are, where all the actors are. Basically, they can create a subnet, or they can create a blockchain of their own, a custom blockchain where every single person that interacts with the blockchain has to pass on-chain KYC, on-chain KYB, or on-chain AML, so things like that. And second thing, even after you pass all that regulatory headache, which we simplify for you, the enterprise, especially public listed companies, then have another issue of not being able to hold crypto in their balance sheets because they're public listed, right? They're regulated, they're monitored. So our subnet allows you to do away with gas and transaction fees, allowing enterprises to create a gasless blockchain environment where they can interact and where they can use. Or we also foresee a future where stablecoins will be prevalent. Stablecoins can then be in said public listed account balances. And when that happens, we can use those stablecoins also as the actual transaction and gas fee for that particular subnet. And that is why I say subnets truly shine there. So, and then, so as a result of that, a lot of enterprises saw the potential of subnet and came on board Avalanche. And as they came on board Avalanche, then we realized that executionally, some of them didn't have the in-house expertise to set up custom blockchains. So what we did is we then formed and launched a new offering called EverCloud, which further simplifies Web3, especially for enterprises and builders and startups. So what it is essentially it is a managed service, basically blockchain as a service, where we provide all the tools and all the services from nodes to RPCs to even your own custom explorers on a self-serve platform, allowing you to create and launch a customized blockchain in a matter of minutes, right? And if you want, especially if you're a bank, you need to have, for example, 24/7 monitoring. And that is something we can also create for you, subscribe for you. So we have different SLAs that cater to different needs. So why we do this is we want to extract all the complexities of tech in terms of deploying and maintaining a blockchain so that you can focus on what really matters, building and growing your product. And that product can be an institutional finance custom blockchain, right? Where everyone is KYC, they have a native gas token, it can be USDC, it can be a Hong Kong stablecoin, or it can just be a cryptocurrency-free environment. Maybe you're a game, you need very, very, very high performance. So you can create a subnet with 50K, 50,000 TPS, which we can deliver, right? And then, or you can have, like I said, for gaming, a single player will do shit tons of transactions, right? So you need, then gas fee becomes an issue, but we remove that. We can remove that, right? Or your enterprise, we talk a lot about real world assets, we talk a lot about DPIN, right? So all this needs custom architecture, which we can then deliver and cater for you. So as a result, let's talk about who are we doing this with. So let's focus on Asia, starting with Korea. In Korea, we have a partnership with the third biggest global conglomerate, SK Group, there, to bring that whole ecosystem onto Web3. We started with OK Cashback, one of Korea's oldest loyalty program with 30 million users. They are changing the whole entire business model to be Web3-centric and bringing them onto Avalanche. Another solution they have, which is Dreamers. So what we're doing with them is for K-pop concerts like Recite, or that's happening in Korea, they're doing NFT ticketing with us. Look next door, Japan. Japan has a loyalty platform company called Loyalty Marketing, which is basically a combination of different of the biggest Japan conglomerates like Mitsubishi, Japan Airlines, MUFG, Nissan. And together they have 100 million users. They are bringing 100 million users on board onto Avalanche. Recently, we are working with Alipay Plus in Southeast Asia to bring a Web3 enabled discount program reaching more than 100 million users in Southeast Asia alone. We work directly with regulators, especially with MAS in Singapore, where we work on Project Guardian. And we have launched actual trials, actual products with Citibank and JP Morgan. Talking about institutions, and this morning itself, everyone was talking about real world assets, and that's something we're seeing a lot of traction in. We have already launched a tokenized fund with KKR, one of the world's leading investment funds. They have tokenized one of their funds on Avalanche. And right now, Citibank is also working with us to test out tokenization of one of their private equity funds. So, and we can't talk about blockchain or Web3 without talking about gaming. So we have some of the biggest Web3 AAA games like Shrapnel, which is already available early access on the Epic Games Store. Do check it out, please. And then we have Godzilla, Off the Grid, which have a booth here. They're speaking in this conference. I have a lot of sexy things I can say about them, but I won't steal their thunder. I'll let them do it. And we're also attracting the biggest Web2 gaming names. Any gamer would recognize the name MapleStory. And MapleStory has just announced last month that they are coming to Avalanche. So what I'm trying to say here is Avalanche, we are supporting real-world use cases. We're not giving examples. We're not talking about potential use cases here. We're talking about real-world use cases that are actually deployed, that are actively bringing millions and millions and millions of users into Web3. So lastly, before I finish off, let's talk about the most important part, you guys. All this doesn't matter or wouldn't be possible without you. So let's talk about how do we help you to grow and build with us. So globally, we have folks like me all around to make sure that all the builders get the technical support, the BD support, or even the advisory and financial support that you need. Actively right now, we have different funds across different verticals to help you scale and grow in the ecosystem, totaling up to 800 million. We also like to be at the forefront of the newest narrative, ensuring we gain traction at the most important verticals. So for example, with institutions and real-world assets, we have Avalanche Vista, catered to give liquidity for any real assets that is tokenized on Avalanche. For the community, we have Meme Coin Rush that we just launched as well to incentivize trading and deepen liquidity pools for community meme coin trading. And then for the builders out there, we have a program that turns your ideas into legit Web3 companies and making builders into founders called Codebase, which is basically our Web3 version of Y Combinator, where we select a cohort every now and then of like X amount of companies, and then we give you a spending money, a stipend of 50K USD. We take you through a structured program where at the end, there will be a demo day with our investor network, and you will get the chance to get a piece of a 400K prize pool. So these are just some of the things that we are doing right now that you can be part of. So if you're interested, please follow us on Twitter so you can get updated on what we're doing, what we're announcing. And if you're interested to talk more, that's my email. Feel free to get connected. Thank you very much.